Shalom and good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'm James Caruthers with Fiery Faith Ministries, and this is your midweek morning manna. It is March 15th, and I'm so blessed to be with each and every one of you here today, whether it is live or you're watching this later on. I just pray that this message is a blessing for whenever you're coming across it. I am so thankful for this opportunity, thankful for all of you who join us throughout the week, lifting us up, lifting others up. It is so wonderful when brothers and sisters can dwell in unity together as a family, spread across the country or the world. We are all reigning in various parts, and thank you to YouTube and these various platforms. We're able to spread that message far and wide and fellowship as if we were just together in our living room. So it really is a joy and a blessing to be able to do this with you guys. So I wanted to have a message as we're approaching this Passover season. Let me share my photo with you guys real quick. If I can figure this out. You would think I'd know what I'm doing. I've done it so many times, but sometimes it still gets me. So I hope you enjoy my title, this play on words, The Lesson, the Leaven. So we are going to have a lesson today on how to lessen the leaven in our lives, how to remove it. We are called to remove the leaven from our lives. We all know that leaven physically is part of the baking process that goes into bread, which allows it to rise and grow. But spiritually, leaven is associated with the sin that is deep within us, that is continuing to grow and fester, which we are commanded to remove it. Each and every spring, we are called to clear out our houses of all the leaven. Well, really, we need to be doing that with our spiritual body. What inside of us are we unwilling, unable to get rid of? We may be ashamed to get rid of it. We may not even know about it. We need to be seeking Yah's help and guidance in this season so that he can show us exactly what is inside of us that's unpleasing to him, gives us the strength and the self-control to refrain from those temptations, whatever it may be. We all have some leaven within us. So this message is for everyone. We all are sinners. We're not perfect, but the Messiah is, and we can trust him to show us how to better ourselves. So I just wanted to show you this picture. I thought it was very fitting. If you're not controlling and removing the leaven within you, we essentially are going to be this giant dumpster, and it's just going to overflow and take over our emotions, our thoughts, our words, and our actions. We really have to develop some self-control to eliminate and rid the leaven for good. So as part of the memorial of Passover, the Israelites have a feast, or to have a feast, but it's a feast of unleavened bread or flat bread, matzah. They are to not eat risen bread for an entire week. Not only that, they are to remove the leaven from their house. They are to clean and sweep every corner until all the leaven is gone, which means not a crumb anywhere. I don't know about you, but in my house, we can sweep and vacuum daily and still find the thought of having no crumbs anywhere in the house just about an impossible task. So why are we commanded to remove this chametz, this leaven? It's because it represents a corrupting influence, a hidden uncleanness that manipulates purer elements. Like the influence of a small lump of leaven in a batch of dough, spiritually, leaven functions as an evil impulse within us that corrupts and sours our inner life. This yeast in the soul is essentially pride that manifests itself in idolatrous desires and lust, whether it be cheating and lying, all kinds of sexual sins, stealing, coveting, basically any of the 10 commandments are basically what we end up being guilty of breaking. If we're not careful and we're not removing this leaven, that leaven will lead to idolatry of the commandments, breaking them, and displeasing yahuah. We must remove it before it starts to control us. And that's just another way the adversary is able to get to us. He seeps this leaven within us, and it continues to grow and grow. Even if it is a tiny amount, he's able to use his temptations and our weaknesses against us by using the leaven within us. So I wanted to share just a few things I had found on how they recommend cleaning your house. So cleaning all possible locations where you may be eating, whether it be the kitchen, the living room, the dining room, wherever. Cleaning your cushions and your sofa, cleaning it all. You don't want a single breadcrumb left. Emptying and scrubbing down the entire refrigerator. Castoring your stoves and ovens, scrubbing, deep cleaning with high temperatures or boiling water, putting away all your dishes, silverware, pots, and utensils that are normally used during the year. Now, some of these may be traditions. I'm not saying you have to do these all, but this was just a list I had found on how they recommend doing this deep cleaning for this upcoming Passover time to remove the leaven from your home. Scouring the sink and the counters, scrubbing down the floors and the windows, all parts of the house. You know, deep cleaning is not always easy. It's not always fun. If we're unwilling to deep clean our own house that we live in, that we have to see every day, are we willing to deep clean our own house, our living tabernacle, where we invite the Father in each and every day, especially on that Shabbat when he comes to dwell within us? If our house is dirty, if our tabernacle is unclean with leaven of any kind of sin, is he going to be welcome? Is he going to want to dwell there with us? It's something we all need to consider and really evaluate in this time as this season approaches, seeking the Father on what it is exactly that is still lying dormant within us. What can we remove from ourselves so that we can have a clean and pure vessel for him? It's all for him. We need to lay down our pride and our desires and just make sure that he would want to dwell within us. All right, so I've got some scriptures I want to share with you guys. We're going to start out of Exodus 12, 14 through 20. And this day shall become to you a remembrance, and you shall celebrate it as a festival to yahuah throughout your generations. Celebrate it as a festival, an everlasting law. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. Indeed, on the first day you cause leaven to cease from your houses. For whoever eats leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that being shall be cut off from Israel. And on the first day is a set apart gathering, and on the seventh day you have a set apart gathering. No work at all is done on them, only that which is eaten by every being, that alone is prepared by you. And you shall guard the festival of Matzah, for on this same day I brought your divisions out of the land of Mitzrayim. And you shall guard this day throughout your generations, an everlasting law. In the first month, on the 14th day of the new moon, in the evening, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the new moon in the evening. For 7 days no leaven is to be found in your house. For if anyone eats what is leavened, that same being shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel. Whether sojourner or native of the land, do not eat that which is leavened. In all your dwellings you are to eat unleavened bread. This time is coming. In just a few weeks, we are going to be experiencing the Pesach, the Passover meal, and then the Feast of Unleavened Bread. For the 7 days we are to eat unleavened bread. And if you haven't tried it, it is delicious. We really enjoy making it. I wish we did it more often, but it is truly a special time and a remembrance of the time and for one, the Israelites going through the Exodus, being led out of Egypt through the wilderness for those 40 years, but also a remembrance of our Passover lamb, our Messiah that shed his blood for each of us. More than enough of a reason to remove the leaven within us. We want to be pleasing to him. We want to do whatever we can to honor him because he made the ultimate sacrifice for us. We can surely make a small sacrifice for him by removing the leaven within us. So there was a few different verses I wanted to pull out through scriptures regarding the leaven, whether it be the physical eating of the unleavened bread, or it used as metaphors in parables from Messiah. He's so wonderful at using things as parables to really address bigger picture issues. And this is exactly what he's doing here in Matthew 16, verses 5 through 12. It's titled The Leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees. And his taught ones came to the other side and had forgotten to take bread. And Yahusha said to them, Mind and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, Because we brought no bread? But Yahusha, aware of this, said to them, O you of little belief, why do you reason among yourselves, because you brought no bread? Do you still not understand? Neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000 and how many baskets you picked? Oops. Didn't mean to hit that. Or the 7 loaves of the 4,000 and how many large baskets you picked up? How is it that you do not understand that I did not speak to you concerning bread, but beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees? Then they understood that he did not say to be beware of the leaven of bread, but the teachings of the Pharisees and the Sadducees, the false doctrine of men, of all kinds of religions, is a form of leaven. And if we're letting that in, if we're taking part of that, if we're practicing it, really even listening to it and giving it a thought, giving it a chance to hang out in our mind, we are letting that leaven start to grow within us. And it can lead us astray and cause us to stumble. It can cause others to stumble by just repeating what we're hearing. And we know we do not ever want to be the cause of having another child of Yah stumble. So we need to make sure that we are following, reading, and listening to only sound doctrine, this doctrine of yahuah, straight from the scriptures. You cannot rely on man. Obviously, men can teach us and help us grow in our journey, in our faith, but ultimately we need to be relying on yahuah to do that. And the scriptures is all that we need. We can rely on the scriptures to lead us down that narrow path, not to the left or to the right. Always focusing on him, because the Torah is the lamp unto our feet. Also in Luke 12, 1 through 3, this is also titled, Beware of the Leaven of the Pharisees. Meanwhile, when an innumerable crowd of people had gathered together so that they trampled one another, he began to say to his taught ones, First, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. And whatever is concealed shall be revealed, and whatever is hidden shall be known. So whatever you have said in the dark shall be heard in the light, and what you have spoken in the ear in inner rooms shall be proclaimed on the housetops. And that needs to be a warning to us. We may be hiding that leaven within us deep down to where no one knows about it. We don't speak about it. realizing it's there, but it's okay because no one knows. But Yah knows, and it will come out. It will be revealed. And so we need to just get it out. Let it be gone, rebuke it. Don't let it come back so that you can be a clean vessel, that you don't have to worry about it being revealed in the wrong time, because the dark will be heard in the light. And what is spoken in the quiet room will be proclaimed on the housetops. Also, Luke 13:18-21, the mustard seed and the leaven. And we can find the same parable in Matthew 13:31-33. Therefore he said, what is the reign of Elohim like? And to what shall I compare it? It is like a mustard seed, which a man took and threw into his garden. And it grew and became a large tree, and the birds of the heavens nested in its branches. And again he said, to what shall I compare the reign of Elohim? It is like heaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of flour until it was all leavened. The mustard seed, so small yet so powerful. Another example of the power of just a little leaven that can grow and grow within us. We have to get it out. If we don't know how to, if we don't even know where it is, what it is, just know that you have some. We all have some. And so we need to be praying and crying out and seeking yahuah every chance we get. Reveal this to me. Show me a sign. Speak to me. Whatever you have to do, reveal this to me so I know what I am facing and what I am dealing with and what needs to be removed. I need your help, Yah. You are the only one that can truly cleanse me of it. Speak out to him. Cry out to him. Pray out to him. And he will reveal it for you if you are sincere and truly are seeking his help and his guidance. I thought this was funny. I have down here, at the bottom, the narrow gate. Last week, I spoke on the narrow path, the narrow gate. And these very verses right after this in Luke 13 went right into that narrow gate passage. So I just thought how interesting. All this was connected in a way that I didn't even realize until going through it this week as I was preparing for this message. But Yah is wonderful. He's miraculous. We should never question him. He is in control, and he can do things mightier than we can imagine. So we don't need to even try to understand. We just need to let him work his will in our lives and let his miracles come forth, and let us be a witness and a testimony to his miracles. All right, next we've got 1 Corinthians 5, verses 4-13. In the name of our Master, Yahusha Messiah, when you are gathered together, and my spirit with the power of our Master, Yahusha Messiah, deliver such a one to Satan for destruction of the flesh, in order that his spirit be saved in the day of the Master, Yahusha. Your boasting is not good. Do you not know that a little leaven leavens the entire lump? Therefore, cleanse out the old leaven, so that you are a new lump, as you are unleavened. For also Messiah, our Pesach, was slaughtered for us, our Passover lamb, our perfect, unblemished, spotless lamb. He was slaughtered for us. So then, let us celebrate the festival, not with old leaven, nor with the leaven of evil and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. I wrote to you in my letter not to keep company with those who whore, and I certainly did not mean with those of the world who whore, or with the greedy of gain, or swindlers, or idolaters. Since then, you would need to go out of the world. But now I have written to you not to keep company with anyone called a brother, if he is one who whores, or greedy of gain, or an idolater, or a reviler, or a drunkard, or a swindler, not even to eat with such a one. For what have I to do with judging outsiders? Do you not judge those who are inside? But Elohim judges those who are outside, and put away the wicked one from among you. You know, the influence of the world, even the influence of our friends or our family members, can be a negative influence. We must be careful who we are associating with, who we are allowing in our inner circle. If they are filled with leaven, it's going to overflow and build up, and it's going to seep into you. The words they speak, the things they do, maybe the things that they see or watch, those things can be portrayed to you as well if you're participating in that. And we know the world is wicked, whether it's a whoring, being greedy, being idolaters, a drunkard, swindlers. All of these are wickedness, and we must flee from it. We cannot allow the wickedness of leaven of any kind to penetrate us. We want to be a clean, pure vessel that's only dedicated to yahuah, not dedicated to the world. There's no room for even a tiny little piece, like we have been saying this whole time, just a small, tiny little droplet of leaven can grow to a massive size. So we must be cautious. We must be aware of who we are surrounding ourselves with. And unfortunately, we may have to cut ties with some, but it, in the end, will be worth it because it will prevent that wickedness from seeping into us. It's not going to be easy, but this is a difficult, narrow path road that not everyone can follow. Not everyone wants to follow. It's very narrow. And so there's going to be a lot of trials and difficulties and even persecutions that come with it. But we know that it leads to salvation. So we have to make the choice. Do we want everlasting life or everlasting destruction and damnation? And my final verses for today is Galatians 5, 1 through 15. Messiah has set us free. In the freedom with which Messiah has made us free, stand firm then, and do not again be held with the yoke of slavery. See, I, Shaul, say to you that if you become circumcised, Messiah shall be of no use to you. And I witness again to every man being circumcised that he is a debtor to do the entire Torah. You who are declared right by Torah have severed yourself from Messiah, and you have fallen from favor. For we in spirit, by belief, eagerly wait for the expectation of righteousness. For in Messiah yahusha, neither circumcision nor uncircumcision has any strength, but belief working through love. You were running well. Who held you back from obeying the truth? That persuasion does not come from him who calls you. A little leaven leavens all the lump. I trust in you, in the Master, that you shall have no other mind, and he who is troubling you shall bear his judgment, whoever he is. And I, brothers, if I still proclaim circumcision, why am I still persecuted? Then the stumbling block of the stake has been set aside. Oh, that those who disturb you would even cut themselves off. For you, brothers, have been called to freedom. Only do not use freedom as an occasion for the flesh, but through love serve one another. For the entire Torah is completed in one word. In this you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And if you bite and devour one another, beware lest you be consumed by one another. So it's quite easy to equate leaven with sin. But in the Gospels, it's equated with hypocrisy, as we saw in Luke 12, and the teachings of the Pharisees in Matthew 16. In the apostles, it's also related to people who are causing Christians or believers to stumble, keeping them from walking in obedience, which we read in Galatians 5 and also 1 Corinthians. We need to remove sin from our lives, and that might include removing people in our lives that are encouraging sin by their lifestyle and by their teaching. What Christian teachings encourages sin? It would be teachings that say Yahuwah is too loving to send anyone to hell. Teaching that Yahuwah understands our weaknesses, so he understands that we are sinners and can't help it. It's okay to do what you want and sin because Yah will forgive you. Teachings that our culture is different now and that our understanding of the Bible has to change with times and use that justify sin. And all sorts of other teachings that aren't Yahweh's word. The way to do that is to eat the pure word of Yahuwah and not mix it with other teachings. All of those are becoming more and more popular, those ideas and that theology that Yah loves everyone. He does love everyone, but he hates the sin. We have to turn away from the sin, and we have to teach others that they do as well, that their sin is not going to be accepted unless they repent and return to the Father and leave it behind, remove that leaven from their lives. They must, and we must. We all have that to work on. There's one simple way to avoid the leaven of hypocrisy. It's to know the truth and to walk in it. It's to know Messiah, Yahusha. Seek to know him as the Savior, but also as a friend you walk with. Get to know him now. And that's all I have to say. I just wanted to share this message, like I said, as we are approaching the time of Passover, of unleavened bread. It's a time to remove that sin and that leaven from our lives. Seek the Father, ask him how to do it, ask him for help to show you how and where it is. And that's something that we all need to do each and every day, need to be working on it so that we have pure and clean vessels, that our tabernacles are pure, that we're wearing a pure white garment, that our blood isn't stained on it with our sins and transgressions, because Messiah will wash that away. He'll make us white as snow if we only turn to him and look to him for salvation and repentance and for giving him the glory in everything. So shalom, everyone. I hope you have a blessed week. Stay tuned. We've got some more shows coming up this week. We hope you join in. We just appreciate all your fellowship, all your comments and insights, all the love that you show us and everyone else in this group. It is a great family, and we're just so thankful that Yahuwah has brought us all together, that he's using us for the kingdom, and he's doing great and marvelous things. So stay tuned. We're looking forward to what Yah is doing next. Shalom, and have a wonderful day, everyone.